Welcome back, one and all, to the North American Challengers League presented by Subway. I'm Mazel. I'm joined by Hawk again, and we get to our third game of our first series. Couldn't be more excited, and that means that we got to cover our Subway best of three sidekick. They have the churro, the cookie, and the pretzel. We're going to figure out what picks we want to be those choices here going into a third game where teams need all the energy they can get. For me, I got to say, I need to see Smolder let through. I need to see the fiery hotness of the dragon on the rift, and I want to see that burning up the pretzel a little bit, make it nice and crispy, because I think the way that Smolder plays the game fits a lot of what we saw both teams try to attempt in that first game, a lot of that scaling late game win condition, and trying to get some evenness in the early game to that extent. So sustainability around a Smolder pick is what I'm looking for my pretzel pick.
Hey, that's fair. I feel like sustainability in the bottom lane has definitely been a big thing. For me, though, Lennon, I got to see some more explosiveness, some of those more 1v9 kind of picks. You know, I'll take a nice warm cookie in the top side with, I got to see Tenacity's Aatrox, baby. I mean, or Samudo's. Like, this thing, they're respect banning it away, and I see it, but I feel like Game 3 is the decisive one. This is Tenacity's best champion. I gotta see him throw down on the Aatrox and really, I mean, just heal it up just like a nice warm cookie would.
Okay. You got a nice little cookie there.
Heals the soul, you know?
True. Now, the churro for me is a little particular, all right? You're going to have to bear with me. One thing that I loved last year was Perry's Poppy. Now, we haven't gotten it today, and we have gotten it a lot this split for him. I want to see a nice cinnamony Perry churro of Poppy in the jungle. I want to see a little bit of direction given back to Perry in that leadership role, and maybe a little bit of energy in terms of the sugar that a churro provides.
And it stops AOE from going in the direction that they want to with their dashes, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
It all works out. It all circles back. No, but that is interesting to think about for our best of three sidekicks. Thank you to Subway for being our sponsor, but it's particularly a game 3 that I want to be very close-knit and that I want to see actually both teams have a say, because when we came into this, it was really a question of can AOE kind of snuff the doubters and end 4th place in the regular season with a win over DSG. DSG just trying to keep some of that pride in tow as the returning champions and getting a little bit of a leg off the ground to go into playoffs with.
Yeah, and we've seen what both teams now are capable of in 2 pretty dominating performances on either side, particularly these junglers throwing haymakers at each other. Perry in Game 1 and then Rosethorn in Game 2, not only getting themselves going, but getting their teams going as well. And clearly, they are the ones that kick-start the Inferno for the victory, and lots of standing implications on the line. Yet again, I want to remind everyone, AOE in particular, they can shuffle everybody down if they win this next game.
Yeah, I think that's another thing to kind of add to the pressure stock for AOE. But DSG definitely want to bounce back after that one. So I think, if Disguised Toast is listening, go ahead and order your whole team a bunch of Subway sidekicks, and there you go. You just have all the energy, all the calories you could possibly want. Yeah. I do want to focus in because there was something I mentioned in game number 2 as we were rounding it out, that there are going to be 10 picks that are not going to be available for both sides. We do have all those Fearless bans here to think about.
Yeah, I feel like, game 1 and 2, you see the Fearless picks traded back and forth, right? Okay, we get it for one game, you get it for one game, right? Game 3 is where we can really see the chaos ensue as we have draft now on our screens. Lennon, you said for your Subway sidekick, you want that Smolder to be left through.
I do.
Let's see if AOE allows it, because they've been the ones to ban it out both games.
I am hoping so, but we've also seen a lot of choices into the Smolder start rising in priority too. The first couple bans, though, are the Callista and the Senna, so likely trades in the first priorities here. DSG on the blue side this time around, AOE on the red.
Yep, and blue side, 100% win rate in this series. It's got the higher win rate in the Challengers League as well. I think DSG, they're going to be happy to have it, and oh no!
Obviously, AOE don't like pretzels. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, but you know what? A churro and a cookie are even tastier anyway, so we can still get our Aatrox.
That's
and
bias,
things,
all right? You're counting out all the churro lovers around the world. What? Saying.
Wait, what? No, churros are in the mix. We churros and cookies, both tastier than pretzels, right? Yeah, it's nice dessert.
Well,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all the pretzel people now are sad. You see, you gotta think about everybody.
I mean, yeah, yeah.
We
AOE's
do get that
clearly
final
not,
focus. Yeah, true. The Ashe is the final ban. The Orianna joining that table as well. A consistent ban, at least, after that second game. The first game, third game. The Xin Zhao is locked in for DSG, so not the Poppy for Parry, but still a lot of skirmishing potential there.
Yeah, and that has been where everything is boiled down to, is those jungle skirmishes. So I love to see that this one snapped up. It's been banned out in the second round, both games so far. And now what does AoE go to? Because a lot of the safe mid blinds have actually been taken off, and that's something they've relied on so far throughout the series, is getting, you know, the Oriannas, the Aries, the Talias of the world. I love the Wukong getting picked up. That's the other champion that was recently buffed and has been getting banned out in the second phase. I feel like the obvious pick here is Varus as well. If you are Wixie, it feels like the strongest blind AD still up and available.
Also like the classic comfort, at least for Rosethorn on the Wukong. Love seeing him on that one. The Lucian is the lock-in for Wixie. So, hey, Gauntlet has been thrown down by AoE.
Maybe this is AoE saying, look, both of the games have been decided really early. No one's really been able to come back once the snowball starts going. So let's just blast the bottom lane in general. Aphelios, Milios, something like that is very safe option into it. It also denies the Lucian Milio combo. Of course, with Nami still up and available, AoE would be able to go to that one if they wanted to. But I'm expecting Wixie to try to pick some safety, as I see you're excited about. Hey! I'm excited about that.
There it is. Yeah, we got the cookie. There's a cookie locked down. I didn't even know you could do that in League of Legends. My God. Okay, though, but the Aatrox, a big deal. The LeBlanc, also a gigantic deal for DSG. The solo lanes right now have risen up in priority for them, and they're going to have to find that execution particularly. But the LeBlanc was already banned away priorly against Young. The Nami has to be locked in. The other duo, I guess, besides the Milio, but it is that combo for AoE.
And this is a great Aatrox pick because DSG knows that AoE has to pick either the Nami or the Milio. You're not going to play something else with the Lucian, right? So may as well slam down the Aatrox. Zamudo not going to have the option to counter. Now they can ban things out like his Yone that he's like to play into it. Jax, those kind of champions that we know Zamudo can go to. And paired alongside this LeBlanc Xin Zhao, you have some insane topside skirmish at this point for Disguise. And yet again, if the games have been decided in the early to mid game, you may as well sell the farm and try to win it at that time.
Might as well see how much you can get for it, at least. The Sivir is the ban for AoE in the second phase. The Nico also banned towards Onad, so taking away some of the setup that can be there between him and Rosethorn. Ooh, there's a Manui ban if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, I was about to say. I almost wonder, like, could this be a Ziggs game for Manui? We saw APA get it earlier, and I feel like it's, you know, those mage bot lanes could be so good and just a good way to neutralize on the bottom side, because it does feel like right now the way that DSG would lose this game, I don't know what you pick for AoE if you're going to win skirmishes on the top side early on. So it feels like AoE's win condition is on the bottom side with Wixie and Breezy, who now 2 games in a row have gotten the better of their opposite numbers. And so I think a defensive option that can clear waves from long range, like the Ziggs or whatever, that Manui would want to go to is smart.
Zamudo locking in the Udyr. Side lane pressure abounds. He's also one to cook up with those builds. Avid follower of Whippo, feels like. But very excited to see him on this pick and see what he can do into the Aatrox. Couple options still left on the table. The Zeri is the lock-in for Manui, and that Lulu locked in too.
Okay, I don't like the sequence of picks that we just had, Len. First of all, Aatrox is really good into Udyr top. This is one of the best answers into it. So I'm surprised to see that Zamudo went that direction instead of towards a more carry-oriented counter pick. Like, they didn't ban him out. The Jax was still there if he wanted it. And then on the other side, Zeri Lulu is going to struggle to contest the lane. The Victor now getting picked up for scaling for Onat. I think I like that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the Lulu. It's the Zeri and the Udyr I'm not sold on. But now that the draft has been decided, I'm expecting push in bottom for AoE, and what I said earlier will remain. That's their win condition. For Disguise, though, this top side is so hard to deal with.
Yeah, those top trios can be really rampant around the map. I feel like around that top side of the map itself is particularly. AoE, though, they go for a pick that's very vocally comfort for Onat. Maybe not necessarily in terms of the games played with him, but the Victor is there, and I think a very stable mid lane to play around and to kind of move through. That's really important for AOE to find early into this game.
Yeah, and I will say the Victor should have decent push into the LeBlanc as long as he's not pressured too much on the gank front, and it's a pretty strong mid-jungle 2v2 with the Wukong. You have a nice high DPS mixed damage profile to try and fight back. So I actually like this pick a lot. Between that and the Zeri for Disguise, it feels like each team essentially wanting to get themselves some sort of late game insurance. But Lennon, we're out of the rift for game 3. Rosethorn, Perry, they have very much decided this series so far, and on early game junglers yet again, I want to see what they can do.
Talked about the standings implications for both these teams. A little bit less important for DSG, but still important nonetheless. 7th or 8th for them if they win or lose. AOE 4th or 8th with the same conditions. Who you got? Spam it in chat, DSG or AOE. See who the communities think is going to take this one down.
This one's for all the marbles. They're sitting on the table. Just one of these teams needs to reach out and grab them if they want to take it home. Again, I mean, you most certainly want to dodge a potential FlyQuest Challengers or Maryville if you are down in that 8 seed, because the loser of this game will find themselves there. Like what DSG is doing early on, though, we highlighted that Wixie feels like the biggest win condition for AoE in this game. He's got to get ahead and be the winning lane for them. So Manui and Poom doing anything in their power to try and stop that.
Not going to get any of those crazy level 1s this time. Both teams coming into this one a little bit more stable. Manui showing himself here. Going to try to fight for the level 2 first because that level 2 mark for the Lushinami is so big. And that focus towards bot side, important nonetheless. The Wixie and Breezy reunion has been one to be very fond of, it feels like this year. A lot of confidence play between the two. But Manui coming off a incredible split in year with Fear and mixed up with Poom, who has been, one of the top dogs in the past in this league.
And this is a bottom lane that there were a lot of expectations for alongside this entire Disguise team. We knew Manui and Poom would be likely some fairly easy to quantify or candidates with their expectations, right? We would figured they would probably be good. And they have been. They have been good. And I think alongside the rest of DSG, they've been a big part of the resurgence. So yeah, it's great to see, that they are trying to play at a high level. They have struggled, though, a little bit with Wixie and Breezy this series, I will say.
They have indeed. Onat going to go for a bit of vision onto Perry here, and will spot out his chicky nuggies once he starts those up. So I see the opposite side pathing for both junglers, meaning that Perry wants to give a little bit of safety down towards Manui and Poom, rightfully so.
Onat was not able to facilitate the 3-wave crash, which does leave him at a bit of a health disadvantage. Young has burned through quite a few pots, though, to try and fight back for it. And the junglers on opposite sides of the map, everyone just, it's so tense, right? This is always how it is in the game 3. And you have to wonder if it's similar in those team comms as well. Because especially with the champions that we have locked in, that some sort of early action is on the horizon, and you just wonder where it's going.
A little action in mid lane here between the two, and Onat's in an awkward position with that wave state there.
Yeah.
We are getting the level 3 mark here as Manui and Poom taking some trades on the Breezy and Wixie. Perry is down here, going to be going for the bot scuttle.
Manui and Poom have done a good job with this early lane, though. Again, sneaking into that brush level 1 to try to get an advantage. Breezy, a little bit chunked out with no more potions once that expires. There is threat of a dive with Rosethorn on the other side of the map. AoE forced to respect the potential threat without their jungler.
Rosethorn spotted out in the mid lane, so a lot of information given over to DSG. They will just split the Scuttle Crabs here. But a minute until objectives start spawning. Dragons took a bit of a backseat last game, but the Grubbies were contested every time. Wonder if we get a little bit of the same here.
Yeah, it definitely has been a big focus on that. I mean, AoE in particular, they were dropping dragons last game to try and get gold, and it definitely worked out for them. However, I feel like the dragons are a more known quantity. I actually had a conversation with one of our qualifiers players, Kryra, for a content feature with Fear Free Tonight the other day, and was talking about the difference between early dragons and early grubs. And he's like, look, grubs, some games are really good because you got a champion that can just slap towers, take plates, and get super far ahead. But you know what you're getting with dragons, which is a lot of pressure scaling into the game. And it allows you to play around the all-important bottom side of the map in this series. So it's an interesting debate. See you go back and forth.
Tenacity going for the one-on-one. Somebody's going to walk away from this one with a solo bolo, but Zamudo able to stay in strong. Young is on his way, though.
Yeah, and Zamudo needs to be very careful. He had that empowered turtle stance to try to heal up, and I think the wave is not really there for DSG.
Out of the chain, Young takes the extra shot there. He's going to try to get up in the wave and force Tenacity out of it, but now he gets Young's ire. He's tanking up the turret here as well. Can't get the combo, and Zamudo's still alive. Young almost dies.
Nice observer work right there to highlight that was the real Young that was tanking up the tower right there. Well played by Zamudo to not give anything over, and in fact actually is able to collect the entire wave. Look at Onat. He's going to get pushed in the mid, and this gives Roastworn a grub timer.
Starts it up already, too. Great timing for AOE to go ahead and grab this one. And no real contest either coming out because Perry's on the other side. So this might be the first time we actually see all three of the first grubs be watched by one single person.
Is this the first, like, uncontested grub take we've seen in this series? I don't know. I feel like...
It is.
Yeah. Everyone's been fighting for him, as you said earlier, but... Okay, we get him. AOE. Nicely done. On the board early. It should, at some point, be traded for a dragon because we look at the bottom side... Wixie's behind. We said he needed to get ahead. And Perry on the side, they might have a potential angle on Breezy here.
Oh, he's on the other side of the death wall. The wind becomes lightning flash there. Perry try to get the play. 3 talent strike comes through. Poom wants the support combat. Poom! Oh my god! Flex all over him, baby!
Supportal combat! That's what we like to see right there. Bump it up and up and up, up, up. Boom! That was a Giga Chad flash right there. Nice first blood over to DSG, and they'll even collect that dragon that we wanted.
Man, that wall has been the death of so many players this season, and it ends up taking another one. Even with the flash on the other side, Poom knew what he had, and the dragon goes over to DSG as well.
Oh, yeah, that's going to feel so good. Not only that, Wixie, you saw forced off the wave, but tower plate over to Manui. This is a 1K gold advantage opening up early for Disguised. Well played. I mean, Poom and Manui, they struggled in games 1 and 2 a little bit, but they are on fire so far in game 3.
I've really enjoyed the tick-up of presence of the Zeri. I know everybody complained about Zeri last year, but I think she provides such an interesting bot lane, so many mechanical plays that you can see. So excited to see that one rising here in the ACL as well, and a contest of this Lucian pick too. Zamudo and Tenacity, just the wet noodle fight going on.
You know, Lennon, you may say, oh, Ron. Okay, we're good. Surely we're good. No one's going to die. And you may say, hey, it's an unpopular opinion that you're happy that Zeri's back. But I'm going to be real with you. I think I'm with you. Look, the AD carry meta is like the moon phases, right? As long as it changes every once in a while to something different, that's what matters.
Oh, Roastworn, he's going in. Already popped the Cyclone too, trying to follow it up with Breezy and Onat's help. But now Manui's coming in. He's got the nice little slide. Ultra Shock Laser will hit, and now the Lightning Crash too. Manui wanted to chase, but Onat with the Gravity Field stops them in their tracks.
Yeah, but a nice flash forced out of Roastworn. Not really too much invested from Disguise defending their bottom side jungle. And that's going to allow Manui and Poom to keep playing as aggressively as they had, not letting AOE get a foothold back on this side.
Zamudo has got some decent fight back, but the Q sweet spot's healing up Tenacity so much. Can't hit the chain there, but the World Ender did get popped.
Zamudo's Ghost is almost back up. Tenacity does have a flash of his own, but he is very low, and with no World Ender,
Chaos Storm already got used. That's ulti in the mid lane. Both, at least.
Everyone's trading very aggressively with each other, but no one dying. Because the junglers, we talked about them, they've not really been able to get involved too much other than that one kill that we saw go down. It has been a slow game. I think good defensive play from both sides, but I mean, yeah, the trading is just insane.
And this is much more the I guess, trading back and forth that I wanted to see in this series as a whole, because we've had those both very one-sided games. We're finally getting the fisticuffs drawn for both teams. The problem is there's a little bit of difference in terms of how teams approach the mid-game mark in ways of carries, right? I think a lot more consistently, Manui will find a lot more strengths, where Onat on the other side is that consistent strength in mid-game.
And we talked in the draft about how, yeah, exactly, those would be the main characters, and Manui is looking a little bit more fed than Onat right now. He's got very good farm, actually.
Barry gonna find an angle, but gets spotted out anyways. And I think that also begs the question of, like, what can a Lucian do? I know in the LPL, I always say we have the best Lucians in the world because our Lucians scale. And I do wonder if we can see a little bit of that action from Wixie. He has picked up the static shiv first item. Weaving in the fights is going to be super important because if you can take out Young or Manui or Poom, those are your big targets.
There is blood on the water here in top lane, Mazel, as the Sharks are circling. First, it was Perry. Now it's Rosethorn. Perry is actually moved away. Tenacity's ult is almost back up.
Tenacity getting baited a little bit there, but Zamudo, he's just playing with fire right now, trying to drag him to Rosethorn. He can't see him because he's invisible, and Tenacity isn't fast enough on the trigger. Rosethorn gets the kill. Meanwhile, mid lane, actually. No way they catch out Breezy, too. There it is. Young gets a kill. And Onat's chasing with the Chaos Storm. Wixie's here with the culling, but Young isn't going to go down that easy. And Perry's looking for Wixie. 3 talent strike to the face. And Perry gets the kill.
And Poom is just giga-chatting another fight. He gets the nice polymorph onto Wixie's culling, allowing Young to get away and then flashing aggressively on the Lulu of all things yet again. It is a nice play from AOE on the top side to at least try and answer the play. They're going to get the 6-stack of grubs. They got a kill for Rosethorn, but this bot situation is starting to look disastrous.
Poom, every time flashes up, is like, I can get some kills. I can go in. Every single time he comes up clutch with it, too. And that 6 grub is going to be a bit of that investment you highlighted earlier, this time for AOE.
Now we can see how Breezy got caught out, just face-checking a bush that happened to have a Noxian Mage inside of it. Breezy, I think, wisely not expanding the flash. Young probably would have been able to get it anyway. Good damage from Onat, but again, there's that poly. Wixie gets hit by the W as he's trying to sidestep, and Perry, no hesitation, knows that the Lucian cannot get away.
Poom is, like, I don't know if he's angry that we've put so much focus on the rest of his teammates this year or what, but my God, this man is showing up clutch in game number 3. That polymorph was so big, and then turning out the flash too. We have Dragon on the other side now, and they are here in prime position for it.
Yeah, I mean, DSG, they have a brilliant fight position. Everyone on AOE, they're completely out of the fight. And when I say fight position, not just where DSG is standing, but their items as well. Sundered Sky for their jungler. They have control over the waves. It's going to be so difficult for AOE to join, but they want to.
They're collapsing on Onat. Oh no, Onat's gonna pop the Chaos Storm. He just tries to fight his way out of it. Now AOE collapsing onto the rest of DSG. Cyclone's pretty big from Rosethorn. He wants to find Young. He gets the second activation, but now TP's coming in for both top laners, and they've already got him. As DSG are cleaning up AOE, the flash goes wide, and they get everything. 3 for 1 so far, and the wings of Tenacity are flapping the world-ending style of DSG.
Hit in the battle of the junglers, it's Perry leading the charge. He's still not done.
Zamudo, you might be the deer, but you can't survive much longer. He's gonna stay here, but DSG have put the hurt onto AOE.
And now you're starting to hit the panic button in the series of your AOE. That 8th place looking awfully close, as it honestly doesn't look too bad. Young goes deep onto Onat, trading a lot of HP back and forth, and Rosethorn actually gets Insect into the team with the Crescent Guard, and you think, okay, maybe he can cook, but with the Wild Growth, with the Sundered Sky, Perry is just immortal in the middle of this fight as he's cleaning everybody up. AOE, they don't have the health bars, they don't have the damage, and even on the backside of the fight, they're able to pick up more. What a fight from Disguised!
Yeah, Perry moving forward like that at the back of everything going on around him feels really good. Just some of that direction being played to so well for DSG, and the team play coming alive. The big focus we wanted to see from this team, and a little bit of the style they've been trying to go for.
I mean, everyone so clearly together on that play, understanding that the Dragon Contest was the move. Tenacity instantly teleports when it was understood that it was needed. Everybody knowing that Perry is the guy in that fight, supporting him and allowing him to make plays. This is yet again the DSG wanted to see. Sure, that game 2 was tough. Honestly, give credit to AOE for how they played that one. But this is a team that I would not want to run into in the playoffs, even if they would only be the 7th seed with a win here today.
Tenacity ever confident in this roster, ever knowing that they are scaling for the playoffs, and we're seeing that evident here, at least in parts of this series. as a whole. We do get that Eclipse completed, so first items for everybody on DSG are there. A little bit more strength to play with.
And now things maybe will start to slow down for just a moment. No dragon on the map for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and everyone just going to scale up. But you talked about Manui as well. He's got 10 CS per minute. He's the late game insurance. The top side trio is strong for Disguise, and Wixie has not been able to come online on the other side. I love the way Disguise is moving around as a unit, saying, AOE, we dare you to stop us from taking your tower.
And the problem is for AOE, their way in are team fights, but they just don't have the items and the damage to back that up, right? You'd love to have some big combos from Onat and Rose Storm with the Cyclone and the Chaos Storm as well on top of each other, but it just doesn't stick enough yet, and the DSG members are too tanky.
They are really hard to kill. Look, they don't even need a tank. They got a Lulu and an Aatrox and a Xin Zhao. These are champions that can buy a hell of a lot of time in the fight, so... I mean, just a great position in this game. And what a great story it is for Disguised being in the playoffs this split. Our reigning champions only returning with one member, but with a roster that on paper looked pretty dang stacked. And to know that they will be competing yet again, bringing so many viewers to the space as well and new fans that can enjoy the beauty that is LCS Challengers. This is definitely a great team to have in the league and a great team to see performing at this level.
It's important also to get just some confidence going into playoffs itself. It's not the end of the road here. You got a long ways to go. At least you're hoping so. Dragon coming up about 50 seconds would be a sole point for DSG. And we have to start asking the question, is AOE fine giving this one and buying themselves 5 more minutes of scaling?
I mean, at this point, I think you're starting to put your eggs in the O-Nation basket. Everybody's got to rally behind this Victor, but he is just not that strong. I mean, he's not doing badly, but the game pace has accelerated beyond, I think, what this Victor can keep up with for the moment. It is, quote-unquote, only a Cloud Soul. I'm going to be honest, I think Cloud Soul is really strong. And so giving that one over feels bad, but at least it's not a Hex Tech or something like that. AOE, though, as you said, their way back in is the team fights, Lennon, so I don't know if they're going to give this one up for free.
They are here with a bunch of vision around it as well, so going to give up a fight if they can. You do have Young in the side lane having TP available. DSG will not put pressure, instead going for the mid-outer tower.
Great call from DSG, understanding, hey, we don't need to fight for this. We can just get the gold. They'll get top lane tier 1. They'll get mid tier 1. They might even get a charge on the tier 2 if they can help it. Parry? Okay, he's driving away.
Going for the classic Scion Speedway. Let's see how good Parry's driving skills are. All right, Parallel Park is going to come up here. You got to see. Now, make sure you line up the wheels. Parry, you can't run into other people's cars.
He just T-boned an SUV. Oh, my God. Okay, everything's fine. Look, at least he didn't go in and die. Those are always the funny ones.
I love it, though. We've seen a lot of just trying to utilize the Rift Herald for a secondary charge into a side lane turret a lot. So I like the idea. At least, just didn't expect the sharp turn there in the end. But now back onto the map, DSG almost a 3,000 gold lead, about 2.5 or so. But they have the composition to force the hand around some of these vision positions that AOE might be looking for.
And can I just say, now that we're solidly into Season 14, the Rift Herald driving is one of the, most random funny things that has been added to this game that I absolutely love. Like, why did they do it? Who knows? But it's fun. And
I just think it's hilarious that it goes off of your champion and not where the Rift Herald is pointed. So if you move at the last second, you go backwards, and we've seen so many top tier pro players just look like clowns because of it, and it makes it that much funnier. We do actually get tons of damage on it. Onat here. Tenacity has a flank. I think this is a bit of trouble here. They do have the Cyclone out. DSG trying to collapse on the long flank, as Manui's going to look for an Ultra Shock Laser here to slow them down. Onat, he's too slow to make it out, and Rose Storm might be joining him real soon. Breezy pops that tidal wave, but it doesn't matter, and Rose Storm's gone.
And a nice collapse from DSG. Tenacity pulling the trigger, and the whole team, all 5 members, together on the move to pick up 2. Now, count your blessings, AOE. No Baron on the map. So At least we're not giving that one over for free at 20 minutes, but it is still Disguise trying to extend their lead. A little bit of damage on the bottom lane. Tier 1 is a very small price to pay for it. Yeah, I mean, well played.
Indeed, indeed. And in two teams that are at the bottom of the playoff rung here, but trying to fight for those 7th, 8th spots, at least for DSG, I think it's important to re-highlight that it might not be the big jump of 4th to 8th that AOE have, but it's still very important to dodge out of FlyQuest or at least FlyQuest if they win their next series. Breezy, oh my god. He's flashing. He got the heal out, and that was a pretty clutch save.
Yeah, but that feels bad. You face check a bush for 1 second. LeBlanc makes you go away. Look, I always say it. LeBlanc, yeah, sure, she's an assassin, but what she really is a poke champion. She just pokes with her face. And Breezy found that out firsthand.
Definitely did. Was about to be turned into some sushi, but ends up making it away.
Today.
Oh,
yeah,
beautiful.
Maybe that was Breezy.
Oh no, maybe it was Onat here. He's not much. He's not a fish, but he's gonna be sliced up anyways. Lightning crash from Manui on the other side of the wall. He is alive still. Tidal wave gonna be popping through. As meanwhile, Tenacity up against Zamudo in the side lane now. AOE actually backed them off, even though Breezy had to trade his health bar again.
You know, I will say, I was not a fan of the Udyr counterpick in the draft. I favor the Aatrox side of this matchup, but Zamudo has played it very, very well. Clearly comfortable on the champion. He's applied a lot of pressure to Tenacity. Now, to give Tenacity some credit, he's done a great job getting involved in the game.
Oh,
as Young!
He is LeBlanc, though, so you got to make sure to double tap here. And he plays with their lives, but Wixie knows where he was and gets the kill.
Okay, I see you, Wixie. He thought Young would flash over the Baron Wall, so he called over. I understand. Fortunately, Young made him look a little foolish, and Wixie actually was the one that was forced to flash. That is a much-needed gold injection onto their Lucian. The unfortunate thing is I don't think that was a shutdown, because Young is only 1, 2, and 2.
Yeah, that's the little thing that's actually saving grace for DSG. Now we have 40 seconds for that soul point for DSG on the other side of the map. And actually a reset from Perry should make the presence down there known.
We just did get confirmation from production. No shutdown. So yeah, Wixie, hey, it's at least 300. You take those. We know what 300 can do in other contexts if we're talking movies. But yeah, it is not going to feel as good as perhaps that kill onto Manui or Tenacity or someone of the like. But AOE at least trying to keep things competitive. Wixie does have 2.5 items for this dragon fight. Spawning about 10 seconds.
Rosethorn tried to face check that bush there. Ends up having to use the clone to get away. Now we reset and positioning Zamudo. He's going to be frontline. Oh my god. Young
poke champion
chunks out majority of members there.
Yeah. Face poke right there. Young diving in, trades a little bit of his HP for a lot on AoE. However, they are strong-arming their way into the river.
Young is trying to get an angle. Tenacity with another angle. They try to get the pincer maneuver here, but the dragon down about half health. Perry goes straight forward. They're on to Rosethorn. Rosethorn has to sneak his way out of there. Tidal wave comes back. They aren't even able to contest the dragon anymore. And AOE lose the fight for the dragon. They will make it out with their lives, at least just yet.
Tenacity did a really great job alongside Young marking out AoE and basically saying, hey, you can walk forward, but we will kill you if you do. AOE respect the threat. I think credit to them for not dropping any members. They do have first access onto the mid wave to at least try to take a little bit of map control back before the reset.
And still a much different game state from the last 2 games that we've seen. Yes, it's still a pretty big lead for DSG, but it's much more manageable for AOE as a whole.
It is completely playable, and I will say some of these scaling carries are starting to come online. Onat coming out of the base has an item and a half. Manui, he has 2.5. I mean, this Zeri is really, really, really strong. And it feels like DSG is further ahead than they actually are because they've controlled the map so incredibly well. But 3.5k at 24 is really not a huge lead.
It is not, and one little slip-up can definitely lead to a lot of boons for AOE. Baron is up on the table, but a third item is definitely what you're looking for if you want to start that one up for Manui. As he has hit that 2.5 item mark, we will see a lot of vision being played around that pit, though, for DSG.
Yeah. DSG has successfully played the bridge-building game, though. They have gotten Manui to the point where he can start to carry. You know, I played the bridge building game before, and sometimes the car drives over it, you think it's structurally sound, and it falls into the river almost immediately. So good job to DSG to get it to this point, and they have put themselves in the perfect position to win this game. All they have to do is team fight together. And so far, we have seen that.
Did you ever play that like Flash game in browser that was like build the little poly bridge and not the car?
Yeah, poly bridge. Thank you. That was what I was trying to think of the name. I was struggling there.
Zamudo's gonna wish he was maybe playing a Flash game now. He has the help of Onat, so maybe they do build the bridge here anyways. As now they go right back in. That's the problem, though, is they overextend themselves for DSG, and AOE are looking to capitalize. Culling goes through, but Nui gonna dodge out of that one. As now Zamudo taking a chunk of damage, but Tenacity, he's gone. A shutdown to Wixie, and now Perry goes in. He's got that crescent guard, and Manui is cooking. Manui shocking the world with his lightning crash, and DSG are running AOE down.
Manui's not done.
He's gonna find another one. He's on a rampage. TP in the mid lane. Wixie, you gotta get out of there, bud. They're coming for you.
Oh, he's so dead.
The walls are closing in, and that's a full and total ace for Disguise.
What a collapse from the team. They were split to start, but they were able to rally behind Perry and Manui as the 3-item Zeri power spike was here. I mean, this looked completely playable for AOE. Early ultimate burned by Tenacity as well as a flash with a massive health bar trade, and the cavalry arrived as Tenacity tries to buy time in this fight, but he gets turned around, and Wixie, he finally picks up that shutdown that we wanted all along. But watch how Perry splits up the members of AOE in this fight, and Manui, full HP, full resources, full everything, with the commitment forward, knowing that he can chase with impunity.
That Crescent Guard did so much damn work because the lack of range that Wixie has makes it so dicey to even step up in a situation like that. A nice heads-up TP from Young, too. Wixie tried, but he can't get away, and a shutdown goes Young's way.
Yeah, and the Baron now picked up for them. How bad does that feel for Wixie to have been a shutdown in that scenario, by the way? Down 7,000 gold. Sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. And now the tier 2 tower is going to be under fire. Zamudo at least picking up something of an objective bounty on the other side. But it is safe to say that DSG is firmly in control of this game 3. AOE hoping for a miracle.
It was so close for so long. Now Balloon to over 6.5k lead. A Dragon Soul in 30 seconds. Perry, it's the Crescent Guard used from him, so he's going to not have that tool available to him. TP in the side lane, though. Tenacity answering Zamudo. Back to the Dragon Pit. DSG go, but AOE hot on their tails.
Zamudo might be dying.
Yeah. He's in a little over his head, but we're speaking of dying. The fight's kicking off at the blue side as AOE already take down Manui. Young claims one back, though, as now Zamudo makes it away. Perry goes back in on Onat. He's trying to get the 1v1 there, but Brosthor comes in to help shut him down, and Onat claims so much money. That means Dragon started up right now by AOE, but they are in contention with DSG.
Yeah, AOE walking on water a little bit in the river. We said they needed a miracle, and they do find 2. Wixie's down 4v3.
They do not do this so fast. Oh my goodness, it's going to take so long to get it. They don't have much damage. Zamudo full health now, though. Tenacity here as well. Zamudo going for it. He's just running in. Polymorph. Dragon goes over second one for AOE, and Zamudo has bought so much space and so much time.
Can they get out, though? DSG, they're still prowling as AOE is re-engaging.
They don't want to get out. They want to take the fight into Tenacity here. The bubble hits. Young's getting low. Rosedorf finds the shutdown.
Here they go.
AOE, they ain't done just yet. They're going to take down Tenacity too.
And just like that, we're back to where we were 5 minutes ago. Are you kidding me, AOE? 2,500 is the lead that it has been cut to as the commitment. This was the last-ditch effort to stop the Baron push. Perry, remember, no Crescent Guard up and available. Manui gets sectioned out, 1k in the bank, and Onat eventually is able to run down the ultiless jungler as well. DSG, they get split up. They're not together on the play, and they get punished. Soul denied as well. We are back to an even keel.
They needed to play together. They needed to find consistency. Both these things were true for both these teams, and we do end up going to a very contested late game here, as that dragon means buying of time for AOE, another 1 in 3.5 minutes, but the fight is there for AOE, and we gotta remember, this is a lot of pressure on this squad between a 4th and an 8th place finish for them between losing and winning.
Zamudo and Rosethorn doing so much work in these fights. I do want to point out, though, Minui, 4 completed items on the Zeri. Has the Lord Dominic's regards in hand now to try and cut through this front line. Likewise, Young, Rabadon's death cap well on the way. And Onat is still a little bit behind the curve of the game. AoE's scaling win condition yet to really come online with his damage.
Not just yet, but he did get that 3rd item for Rosethorn too. So that 1,000 gold shutdown went his way. DSG are on the map looking for picks, leading from the position of parry so far.
And everything just going back to such a knife's edge. It felt like Disguise had everything in their control, but AoE, they do not want to let that 4th place finish slip through their fingers as Rosethorn is found.
Oh, a little bit of fighting on a Rosethorn, loses a chunk of his health here though. Not anything else to be spoken of, but the jungle play is there for DSG. They were trying to push in a tier 2 tower on the top side, but the reset comes through, not feeling confident to move forward. I feel like we've definitely seen a shifting of that confidence in this game.
How important could this series be for these players on AoE in particular? Rosethorn, Onat getting demoted from the Challengers League with Team Fish Taco last split, coming back to now potentially get 4th place in an incredibly close matchup in the final week. And for Wixie, not even playing in Challengers League last split, boot camping in Korea, making his return alongside a longtime duo partner. What a story this AoE roster would be if they can pull this one out.
The revenge arcs abound, it feels like, in a lot of these members. A lot of guys that have come in to make a statement here in this spring split. We have a lot of players in our league right now that are kind of thinking, you know, they got to make it happen this year. And between these 10, I think there's a lot of guys that are going to want to make names for themselves here.
I mean, across the board, players that have had their name tossed around in NACL conversations and LCS conversations, particularly on the side of Disguise. You want to talk about Tenacity and Boom, and even Young, who has gotten some playtime in the LCS for a minute. These are players that definitely have their sights set on that level. Tenacity, one of them. He's got a great flank position AoE. They're trying to contest this mid wave as Disguise is pulling the Baron. They have full control
burn it so
top.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get in here. They got to do something. It's already
Tenacity's
about half
so
health
dangerous.
here. They will not spot him yet, but Zamudo should get him. They now realize the Baron's already almost dead. Rosethorn's on the back of the pit here, maybe looking for a 50-50. I don't think that's what DSG want. Tenacity on a big old flank, and you see DSG pull off the damage. They do not want to give Rosethorn an opportunity, but Rosethorn, it's a switch, it's a bait, and DSG popped the trigger on AoE! Oh my god! Minui is gutting him down, and Perry, he's down 2, but AoE, they're fighting back. DSG with all 5 members, and still 4 members rather, going forward onto Zamudo, and that's a dead deer in the top side. Young gets the kill anyways, and that's onto the Baron for DSG.
What? Poise on display from DSG as they find the turn, and they will get their 2nd Baron of the game. Back in control is their game state. Now, AoE, good on them to find out Tenacity and force him out of the fight as we're back to live because they're trying to deny the soul yet again. Teleport into the bottom lane.
Rally Cry Baron buff can only have the spotlight for a moment because the dragon is important. AoE, they are on the back end of a bad trade here, though. And Rosethorn's like, whoa, bro, I got to get out of here, but I can't. Poe's got an angle. Rosethorn's going to try to get out, but that means the dragon could just go over to DSG. He's completely caught, and he's down.
Now Disguise, they're going to have a 4v5 map state as well. They can take the Dragon Soul and maybe even look to go for an aggressive play towards AoE's base. Break that one open, find themselves an inhibitor with one of the strongest members of AoE down for 35 seconds. Tenacity already escorting in the bottom wave. Boom Okay, needing to take a base. Everything will start to slow down. Disguise, standing tall. They allowed AOE to get back in last time, but here, with their second Baron buff, they want to slam it shut in AOE's face this time around.
They've got the boards and nails ready to go to keep that door shut here. They ballooned back up to an over 6K lead. They were down to about 3,000 just because of that easy fight back from AOE. Now they will move forward with some sieging potential. Still about 1:40 on this Baron buff too.
And I gotta say, you know, at least on the last day of the split, we have one game that is really delivering. This third one has been back and forth and back again in what has been an extremely competitive series between two of our mid-table teams. No Oppenheimer game this time around, Mazel. This is good old-fashioned fisticuffs.
Young, Aegis Oppenheimer Breezy though. The nuke goes through and they are down a member.
Yeah, and now AOE, I don't know if they can defend. Zamudo trying to buy space, but they have a wave in top still. He's getting cut down. Tenacity, though, he's so strong. Level 18 on the side.
Oh, and that's got to be a big strength in the siege potential. Look at how much Young does in just the little poking moments. The siege continues here for about 50 seconds as they're looking at a tier inhib, at least in the top and mid.
Yeah, DSG just doing a brilliant job of ping-ponging AOE around the map. They know they can't defend two places at once, and they're getting pulled.
They just have the cannon minion there. They do take the tower anyways. The inhib also falls. They realize they need to go back and finish that one off. The minions in the mid lane did the work, and now a second inhib will fall.
So well played by Disguise. AOE not able to defend two places at once, or even any of them at all, as two inhibitors will fall. 9,000 now is the lead, Lennon. They're going to get out alive with it. They still have a bit of time left on the Turo Baron buff if they want to try to push in for a third one.
Now we actually see DSG just looking to try to put the end here, as they actually are just looking for the final inhib turret. There's a decent chance a big combo could be pulled off from AOE. They get the Chaos Storm, the Tidal Wave, Cyclone on top of each other. The Wombo combo could be the saving grace, but that saving grace is few and far between. The Culling actually does a ton of work to get the minion wave, and DSG can't siege.
They are going to be forced away. AOE, nice job, able to defend. And we're gonna have another team fight. The Baron has fallen off. The Rally Cry Baron buff has fallen off. And everything going to go back. I mean, we have an Elder in 3 minutes. There's no way that spawns. Baron in 2.5. That feels like where the game will be decided.
Nasty. She just heavy lifted for his team there. Just got a red buff for everybody. Is able to play pretty well on this Aatrox here. And I think that's something else I've really loved to focus on for DSG is we put so much on Perry, Young, Manui, Poom as well, the track record. But Tenacity was coming from a content creation angle. And I think we've seen some of that rust be knocked off as time has gone on for him. And he's really become that carry top laner we once watched him take this league by storm with.
And this is a player that, I mean, at one point was regarded as the top lane prospect. Before General Sniper started mewing on kids in the LCS, it was Tenacity that people were talking about, right? And so to see him playing at a level like this, I mean, I think this is a player that wants to get back to the LCS. Took a year off, and we know what he's capable of here in Challengers. He's proving it yet again, as you say.
AOE on the back foot here. They have super minions they have to deal with on the top side as well, but DSG, they want this last inhib turret to spawn those double super minions in all the lanes. They will have an angle here as well with Tenacity hovering over mid and Young there as well. They go onto the siege here. The minions are the focus for AOE. Oh, it doesn't matter. It looks like lightning crashes. The turret falls. Tidal Wave on top of it, but Rosethorn's clone taking up a decent amount. Zamudo's clearing up the mid wave as well. AOE are doing a good job of taking down some of these waves preemptively.
Yeah, but the third inhibitor fell, and I think that's all DSG needs to just take these neutral objectives and probably end the game. I don't think AOE will have a way out of their base. Double super minions is just so much to handle. Rosethorn going to try to cancel some backs.
Did get Tenacities as he was trying to stop him stopping the back, at least the double stop. The Baron is up on the table now, and AOE need to position around it.
And I mean, it's just so hard. Who do you keep back? Okay, so Zamudo and Onat both have the teleport up and available. So they can try to pre-push some of these side waves, but AoE is going to have a very tight timer. They have to force a fight almost immediately because the longer this sequence goes, the more difficult the map state becomes for them.
They start it up. They burn it real fast. That's a full build Manui there on the Zeri. TP coming in now as well. Onat coming to join the table here. Oh my god, Breezy! He's still alive, but AoE have taken the fight way before they could. Wixie just got here. Wixie stepping up. He takes down Perry. It might have just been the exact pick you needed. Tenacity no longer confident. Young can't step up either. He's getting blasted. And AoE, even down 8K, will take advantage of any slip up from DSG.
Yeah, we thought that Young was going to delete Breezy, but it's actually Perry that goes down. Now Zamudo, he's forced to deal with the minions. He's the only one with teleport, but Tenacity's going for the
jungler.
game. Oh, it's Young.
Oh my god, you got Zamudo there too, though. They're in it to win it now. Young has it, and Young is there. He's dip diving, dodging. He's around Zamudo. He's going for the Nexus. He wants it. He can't get it though, and the Elder Dragon is started up by AoE. Young is kited down to hell, and AoE ain't giving up a fight.
Young, I think he's gonna die. The Elder's gonna go over. Perry down here with the smite. Is there a miracle?
He got it. Wixie got the Elder flap, and Wixie's getting the executions. Look at him go! My God, the Chad has stepped up.
There is literally nothing in AoE's base separating them from defeat. But Inhibitor in the top lane will now respawn. Inhibitor in mid will now respawn. Young went for the game, but AoE shut him down, and now they have an Elder buff in hand.
What a banger! Both these teams have so much on the line in terms of the standings implications that this has, and just every inch of this game is delivering. We went from a 9K lead for DSG back down to a 3K, and these teams are delivering an LPL gold grab from history, it feels like. They're going to try to catch out Perry again. They have the Elder still, and Tenacity, Perry, you got to get out of there. They will end up surviving, but back onto the Baron goes AoE.
And Mazel, you keep saying, you know, LPL this, LPL that. This is what CBLOL is like too. We both got those aggressive regions, and this game is delivering in just the same way. LCS Challengers, are you not entertained?
DSG are here. DSG! Oh my god, Young just did it! The young alien himself claims the Baron and buys time for DSG!
How? What? What? Young just committed highway robbery, and now it's a Baron buff against an Elder, but the Elder's going to fall off first. How did Young get that Baron? That might have just disguised the game.
I would love to get a replay of that if possible, just to take a zoom in, but my god, what a clutch moment from DSG. That's exactly the kind of little mechanical play that this team can find so many times.
I mean, this is unbelievable. This caught me so off guard. I mean, was it a miss smite? Early smite? It's just a miss smite. He went in.
He just didn't smite.
Perfect.
He didn't have it.
Yeah.
It just came off cooldown.
Rostor not able to secure it. AoE does at least get a mid tower off of their Elder push, but I mean, that Mimic Distortion does so much damage at this point in the game.
Wait,
700.
Perry,
Young on the flank.
I don't know if they can do it. Perry just goes straight in. They still have the Elder, though. You have to be very careful. It's going to be falling off soon. Rostor getting half health. Perry goes back in. He's still got the Elder. Oh, my God. It's already one down. Wixie got the execution. Zamudo goes down to a killing spree from Tenacity. And DSG, they're fighting with every breath. Look at it. The minions, the double supers, they're on to the Nexus.
The minions are going to burn down the Nexus. AoE is forced to answer. It's going to be another inhibitor dropping, and Tenacity on the top.
They have the inhibs going down once again, and AoE, they have one breath left, and it feels like the Nexus is all they can hope for.
Okay, everyone's gonna back away. DSG, they cannot push forward without their jungler, and AoE's Elder has fallen. The Baron buff still online, as the now bottom inhibitor has respawned. AoE, can you prevent triple inhib death?
It is going down anyways. TP in. That will be Tenacity. He is full item stacked on the Aatrox. Manui gets pushed back, but Wixie He's got to be careful. But Tenacity! He shuts him down! That might just be the game. The Nexus is bare, but now he's going forward. And DSG, they've done it! DSG, they slammed the door on AOE, and they'll finish the season at 7th place.
I think the door was about to fly off his hinges right there with how hard they slammed the DSG. They tried once, didn't work. They tried twice, didn't work. And finally, with the 3rd Baron buff, they do it. What a game we just saw. 45 minutes.
Our longest game of the split was 44-43. I would love to get clarification on how long this last game just was, because that was insane. Props to DSG and AOE for delivering on their final series of the split. It was everything we could have asked for in that 3rd game, and what a way it was. We're going to step away for a short break, catch our breath, and then we'll be talking to a member of the DSG victorious team. We'll see you there.
Introducing the new Footlong Sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious Footlong Cookie, Footlong Pretzel, or Footlong Churro.
Welcome back, one and all. We're here with the Rally Cry post-game interview, and we are joined by none other than the coach for Disguised and Narrow. My friend, how are you feeling after finishing the season on a triumphant win where your players were talking about scaling for playoffs?
Yeah, feels good. Interesting win to end it on, but it kind of is example of most of our games, I think. But, you know, happy we could, like, kind of turn it around towards the end of the split. Like, once these guys started getting more gelled together, pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you all are actually now on a 3-game win streak to end the season. And even though, hey, you know, the last game might have been a fun game, we did actually just get confirmation, missed the record for longest game of the split by 5 seconds. But game 1,
I think that's a
really...
dub for an arrow.
yeah. You're not up there as the longest, right? But game 1 was actually really, really clean. And we've sort of talked about scaling into playoffs. How do you feel that the team has grown as the season has progressed?
I think we've gotten a little bit more used to being bored, being okay with the game being boring, because I don't know, you can win Academy just playing like macro pretty well, or at least you'll get the dragon fights like a stable game. But God, is it boring? And I don't know, the guys have gotten a lot better at doing that and being okay with just like normal things. I think especially like game 1 is just really chill. Even this game, like we knew how AOE plays around like their Herald timer will be totally okay getting something for that, and we'll be able to trade on map against them because they don't generally play like the side lanes well later. And they did it. They're okay being bored, which is nice. So I think that's been the biggest improvement we've gotten on our end, is not trying to overcomplicate the game and go for like flashy outplays all the time to actually get a win and chill. Be okay being bored.
You have to like tie down Perry's legs, like make sure he's not getting a little too excited, make sure he's not getting too rambunctious. I do want to ask you though, in terms of the way that you approach this year and kind of coming into it with this team, molding a lot of new pieces together, was there a big lesson for you as a coach or anything that you kind of picked up along the way that really has been leading in a positive direction?
Honestly, like for me, is the biggest thing was getting used to remote coaching again. God, I've hated remote coaching. LCS, if we had remote for someone being sick or something, we would just cancel. It's so weird getting used to and like the dynamic of that, and also kind of missing working with my old assistant coach Spooks. He was a bit of a monkey for the team. He's always loud. He just made everyone laugh. That is not me at all. So we found ways to kind of evolve with that. Like our team has really turned on the soundboard usage for our scrims this week a lot more.
Let's go.
Which has helped.
Nice.
What's the biggest used one?
Oh god, it's just like music, and there's like a dumb one of, I don't know, it's called Tenacity, and it just says, "You're really good at League of Legends. We should duo sometime," and it's just some streamer saying it, and it's just a shit post. And so like someone gets a kill, and it's just like, "Oh, you play that." There's one with Milan saying, "Oh, it's a good death actually." Like Milan dies in scrims. Press that one and get it going. I don't know. We've kind of turned the practice into a for fun type of thing when we're doing well. I think that helps. Yeah, just figuring out how to like do those things, because that's it's so different than what you're doing in LCS, really. Or at least like I didn't really have to focus too much on it. It could kind of just be the like strategy side of things. So I don't know, it's fun.
Yeah. No, it's great to hear that team environment is holding up throughout the season. And now looking ahead to playoffs as well, y'all are going in as the 7th seed. And the 2 seed, who your opponent would be, still up for grabs between FlyQuest, Supernova, and Maryville, depending on how the next match pans out. Who y'all want to play in the first round?
Oh, honestly, I don't care, man. I don't care who it is. It's chill. I don't even know the conditions for it. Like, I'm just focused on these guys getting better. Any opponent, it's all going to be relatively the same, really. Like, if we play our stuff, we play well, like, we'll at least make it competitive and do well. But if we're playing like shit, you know, it's not going to matter who we're playing. So I'm not focused on them too much, more so just focused on our guys doing well enough and showing that they deserve to, you know, move up.
I like it. It's a good focus. I want to give you a quick chance to give some shout outs before we let you go, man.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to the players on the team. Like, working with them has honestly been great. Like, even through the down parts, like, it's really fun. So I've loved working with them. Obviously, shout out to Toast for just getting these guys on board and providing like a good organization for them to work for. So that's really it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Anero. It was a pleasure to get to talk to you. We're going to take it away and send it to a break while we get ready for our final season, regular season game at least. Fly versus Mir. We'll see you there.
They said it couldn't be done. They said the world would never accept a cookie this long. Or a churro, and probably not a pretzel either. They also said, under no circumstances should those really long and delicious treats be wildly affordable. To which we said, but we already made them. And they are. Introducing the incredible new foot-long sidekicks. Get one at Subway today.
The thing that has surprised me the most is how much better the tier 2 teams are than the tier 3 and college teams.
I think definitely fearless drafting has been really surprising, but just the overall like skill level of the league has gone up in my opinion. And that's been really fun for me as a competitor, and it's just been really nice to see for like the scene overall.
It was more just like last year, like the switch between the academy and NACL. Now it's like the only thing that changed for me was just like the fearless draft. That's pretty much the only thing that surprised me, honestly.
I guess DSG, they're not doing so good. Like somehow they lost to us. I'm not sure about TL. I don't know. It's hard to say because I think both teams, TL and Disguise, their top laners are still top of the table, right, in the league. But something's not clicking. Maybe top is just weak. If your best player is in your top lane, it's not gonna get you wins, you know? Probably want that guy to be on the carry, right?
How good my teammates are and how bad everyone else is. TL or DSG, and I mean, look at them. You can't have names like that on your roster and fail. And if you are failing and you're not taking active steps to fix that, which I think TL are, but I don't see DSG doing, I think that's a failure as a professional player.
Trying to work on my consistency. I think I'm like good at a lot of things, but sometimes I'll like get in my own head, not feel very confident, that'll like affect my play. So keeping up my level of play right now.
I'm still getting solo kill a bunch, so that's not changed at all. I guess I'm working on my laning. Sometimes I just find new ways to die randomly. Definitely just focusing more on my laning, watching VODs, you know, all that, focusing more.
Definitely my laning phase. I think coming into tier 2, the level of matchup understanding and just controlling lane is a lot more important, especially in the bot lane meta right now with like Kalista and Lucian Melee and all that strong early game stuff.
Right now, I'm just working on my consistency. I know I've said that for a little bit if you've been following my story, but I really think I can be the best player in the world if I just get rid of all my mistakes. But I just got a little bit too many of them right now. But yeah, that's my #1 goal.
My mid-game tempo usage is the most important thing. When it comes to like pure laning, I'm already better than basically all of the tops in LCS. I feel pressured to always be doing something because that's the kind of league that I've been taught. But there are certain times when sitting around and doing nothing is a better course of action. Quad, Rocco, and Sheetan specifically, I'd say Jay is like the biggest help with this, which is surprising because he's a jungler. He doesn't let me cope, which is really good. I mean, I don't cope a lot, but like maybe in the moment immediately after doing something, I'll be like, oh, that's not so bad. But then we go back and look at it, I'm like, okay, that's pretty bad.
So understanding better of what my role is, because I feel like last split, I had more freedom in the champs I was picking. This split, I'm trying to play more of like the meta champs, I would say. Understanding more of like what my job is and understanding what I need to be calling for as a carry role.
My individual skill. Let my gameplay like flow into my teammates. Like sharing my ideas more pretty much. Kind of got to know the difference when to like take a backseat and then when to like, you know, be hard calming as a jungler.